Welcome to another edition of Smart Chat here on YouTube.com. I hope everything's going well for you guys. I do want to give you my FASTLANE predictions on the road to WrestleMania. And, is this an easy card to tell, to predict? I don't know. Like, it is the road to WrestleMania, so we could see some swerves. But, let's get into the card. Kickoff show, Andrade versus Rey Mysterio. Now, we've seen Andrade and Rey Mysterio kind of feud with each other, participating in the open challenges for the U.S. title, which Samoa Joe did win. Now their feud kind of spilled into that, and now we're getting them one-on-one. Andrade, kind of a shock that he's been really underutilized in the past year, but he's really shined with his feud here against Rey Mysterio. Does this feud continue to WrestleMania? I don't know, one-on-one, I just don't see it happening. Maybe I see a Samoa Joe, I don't know, maybe a Samoa Joe, Andrade, Rey Mysterio type of feud for WrestleMania. That continue, but I don't think you're going to see anything one-on-one between these guys other than Fastlane here. So I don't look for it to continue. Who's going to win? I think Andrade is going to win. Rey Mysterio's the consummate underdog. He could always bounce back, and it won't hurt him. Andrade needs this win, so I see Andrade winning this in the kickoff match. Asuka versus Mandy Rose. This is for SmackDown Women's Championship. Asuka is almost forgotten as if she's the women's champion. She's barely been on the show really since the Royal Rumble. And keep in mind, in the Royal Rumble there, she did have a clean victory over Becky Lynch. February 19th, Mandy Rose picked up the biggest win of her career, and she pinned Asuka. Kind of brought them to this point where she is going for the championship now. Mandy Rose versus Asuka. I don't know if as far as Mandy and Asuka, I think this is just a filler. As Rose being a filler for until the actual opponent does arrive for Asuka. I think they see, the WWE sees a lot in Rose. I just don't think it's yet. I think from what we see, the vignettes, I think that's going to be Lacey Evans. And Lacey Evans, hard to gauge. Sometimes she gains heat. Sometimes the crowd's indifferent when she interrupts, certain segments. She's been coming out. I think she might be the kind of the next opponent for Asuka. And let's not make no mistake about it. Rose has looked definitely impressive in recent months. Has come away, and I think you're going to see a solid showing from her on Sunday. But I think it's Asuka that's going to win the championship going into WrestleMania. Triple threat tag team match. Revival versus Gable and Rude versus Black and Ricochet. Now, Revival still getting no reaction. You wanted them to be your tag champs. Everyone on the internet clamored for them. Here they are, your tag champs. They have lost back-to-back matches to Ricochet and Aleister Black. Bobby Roode, Chad Gable, they've been, anxiously waiting for their rematch for the titles as well. And this is Q and Fastlane. You're going to see all these tag teams going up against each other. I think WWE has given the Revival plenty of chances to get over. Some say the booking is atrocious. Some say zero regard for the tag team division. Is there a reason for Rude and Gable to retain the title? I don't see it. I think actually I see these two kind of splitting off, going into singles. You know, you bring in a Black and Ricochet to kind of a breath of fresh air in the tag team division there. I think it's a little bit too premature to put them as tag champions, though. You had a team like DIY, who I thought would have been the perfect tag champs to take it from the Revival. That being said, process of elimination, Revival wins the tag team championship. Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax and Tamina. This is for the women's tag titles. You know, since winning the tag team titles, they're willing to defend the title on any brand. Any brand. I don't think this match is going to be anything too special from a ring standpoint. But you got to have Banks and Bayley winning this. Trish Stratus and Lita. You might even see Bella Twins as the opponents for WrestleMania for the Bayley and Banks combination. They win it. Usos versus The Miz and Shane. Usos have the straps. I think this is going, like I said before, numerous predictions. Who's going to turn on who? You know, you might say Miz is a natural heel. It will make sense for it to be him. But don't be surprised if it's Shane McMahon. WrestleMania is right around the corner, so if WWE is going to split them, it would have to be soon. Fastlane, I think, is set to kind of emanate from Miz's hometown of Cleveland. Keep that in mind. So it will be perfect place for him to turn his back on the fans. Usos, what's up for them next? Seen the Hardy Boys emerge. Maybe Usos versus Hardy Boys for Tag Team Championship. But I look to see Miz and McMahon there split their ways, and we will set up, you know, WrestleMania. Usos retain. Look for Usos versus maybe Hardys for WrestleMania. Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. No strangers to each other. One-on-one match. Multiple pay-per-views they faced off of each other. Now Ronda Rousey thrown into the mix, and Charlotte and Lynch both find themselves going for a Raw Women's Championship instead. So, complicated angle. Now, Becky Lynch has to win to be in the to be in the you know, match for WrestleMania technically, and that's where it's going. Becky Lynch will win. And, you know, this story has taken on numerous twists and turns. Complicated angle. Ronda Rousey saying wrestling is fake. Look for Ronda Rousey to make her presence felt on Fastlane. But Becky Lynch does win. The Shield versus Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley. You know, a reunion. of the Shield. Were you excited? This 6-man tag team match, you're going to have Roman Reigns bouncing back. First match since October. No, Rollins right now is the only one out of these 6 guys who actually has a WrestleMania match set in stone. But, Reigns versus Ambrose match, one might argue would be a better use of those guys rather than each facing Corbin or McIntyre separately. A loss for the Shield on Sunday could be academic. There could be something happening. Don't be shocked. Feel good moment. Hounds of Justice reuniting. And then they lose. And then they split. Again. Ambrose turning his back on Rollins and Reigns. See that happening? How upset, how emotional would you be if the Shield, you wanted that feel-good moment again, and there you go, Ambrose again turns his back on the Shield. Therefore, Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley win. Corbin desperately lacks credibility, but hopefully a win at Fastlane can help him with that. Lashley focused on regaining the Intercontinental Championship, while McIntyre deserves a prominent spot on the Mania card. Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens. Kofi Kingston has been incredible on SmackDown Live lately. He's been coming into his own again. Outstanding performance at Elimination Chamber. He was prepared to go after the WWE Championship for the first time in a one-on-one setting before that slot was given to Kevin Owens. And it's a different Kevin Owens that you've seen in the past. He's a babyface right now. Been a kind of a foil for Daniel Bryan. I think this feud is only a placeholder before Kingston returns to title contention. It would be, maybe you might argue, it might be damaging for Owens to lose to Bryan clean. So WWE, I think, is going to find a way to protect him in defeat. A guy like Rowan could factor into the finish somehow and cause the contest to be thrown out. But that would almost be as cheap as when they did the same thing to AJ Styles at Royal Rumble. Remember that Daniel Bryan said that Kevin Owens does not have any friends. Maybe this was setting up to make Mustafa Ali's return later that night kind of a bigger surprise. But Sami Zayn resurfacing on Sunday to betray, let's say, a Kevin Owens would be a nice twist as well. No more friends does Kevin Owens have. He lost them all. No matter what happens, I think the champion losing the title so close to WrestleMania will be something mind-boggling. Can't see it happening. Daniel Bryan retains. Enjoy Fastlane, ladies and gentlemen. Hope all is well.